All right, welcome to the December 2024 CentOS board meeting. The agenda is in the minutes, and we have our previous minutes linked there as well on the agenda itself. First item of business, which should be really quick, is Firefox recommendations, which was brought as any other business at the last meeting. The link is in the agenda. I'm just going to bring it up real quick. Put that in for anyone who wants that. All right. At the last meeting, we made 3 recommendations. We were hoping for Apple, Flatpak, or something from Alt Images. Thank you to the Alma community and Andrew specifically, who said they will contribute and maintain a Firefox RPM within Apple. So thank you, Alma community. Yay. Go ahead, Troy.
Just one note on that. Since last month, both Chromium and Falcon are both in Apple 10. So that doesn't. So Firefox is still a really nice package, but if you're in need of another browser before that, there is another one.
Okie dokie. I'd never heard of Falcon before, so
it's a KDE one. It's actually in the past it wasn't that good. With KDE 6, it's actually fairly decent.
Thank you for that update, Sean.
I was just also going to mention that I suggested that we create a quick docs page on all of these various options for a web browser. And I didn't write that, but I did file an issue. I've been trying to file issues against the docs to make it easier for people to contribute to see things. So I've pasted that in the chat. Anyone wants to do it?
Davida?
Related to this, given that you mentioned it, we should also write a quick doc about how to use the Fedora Flatpaks, because independently of the browser thing, it can help with the browser, but it's also something that's helpful in general to have, and seems like a good candidate for quick docs as a format.
And I think we did decide that we were not going to necessarily tell people what to use, if I remember correctly, but these were going to be recommendations that people could use if they needed a browser. Troy, as the alt image representative in the call, do you have any updates on that, or is it even needed anymore?
I have not tried doing the Flatpaks on the alt images, but I have been told that it will not work, but I haven't physically tried it. Okay. So I haven't verified that it does not work.
All right, I'm just going to put a note on that HackMD.
So for the time being, the alt images will do Chromium on most of them and Falcon on KDE. But I hope during this Christmas vacation to give it a try, but
you sound like me. While I'm off. And is it Falcon like the bird?
Yes, Falcon.
AEN.
Oh, is Falcon spelled with a C?
No.
Okay.
Falcon.
Yeah,
Thank
sorry. You. I'm bad at spelling.
No, that one is not spelled the way the bird is.
Okay.
Because the bird has a C. Alrighty. Is there anything we want to add to that? Alrighty. So we will move along to the update from Brendan.
Oh, a similar doc should also be written for Thunderbird email clients because people do need that too.
Good point.
All right, Brendan,
text, and I'm not sure the URL of the text, and then that you're going to see like incomplete sentences in the text. It's okay. We'll get through this together. Hi, everybody. Last month when we got together, we had the following conversation. Hey, we're still on board with this idea of getting together with the Fedora and RHEL leads, but the doc you shared looked a little too complete, and I didn't know how to contribute to it. Could you provide a less complete document? I said, yes, I will do that in a couple of weeks. 4 weeks later, here's a link to that document. So as a reminder, the goal here, the fundamental idea here is that we've got these 3 different distributions. We've got leadership in 3 different places. Sometimes the decisions and activities that we do in one of them affects others. There's been a few consequential things happening in Fedora over the last couple of weeks that I would have loved to have raised in this theoretical form before things closed out or finished up. So this is, I think between 4GO and the change in FPL, that's the kind of stuff y'all might have been interested in. So anyway, these are like good examples of this thing. So the idea behind this doc is it's a lot less prescriptive. It's a lot more, this is what I think I would like to get out of such a thing. This is what I think I would like to contribute to such a thing. So it's very open-ended. It's very minimally structured. And if the structure that's there is getting in the way of you contributing to it, like just blast that structure away. It's fine. So this is shared with you to edit and mangle to your heart's content. And if it's not structured enough, let me know. We've got a different problem. I tend to overcorrect sometimes, but overall, I'm looking forward to 2025 where we're working together, not just talking about doing it in this call, but like doing a thing that we haven't done before.
Thank you for that update. We really appreciate it. And I did, while Brendan and I were discussing whether to have it today, this discussion today or in January, I did warn him that people were possibly going away for the holidays soon. And if we didn't get any movement on it, we would bring this back up again in January. So if you have some time and want to work on it, please do so. If not, we will pick it up again in the new year. Does anyone have anything? Davida?
Brandon, if you're going to be at CentOS Connect, that's also probably a good venue to have follow-up discussions. But I agree, it's great to have this before the holidays so people can actually spend time reading and comment.
I will not be at CentOS Connect. In fact, we're going to have a very minimal presence there because we are organizing a full team meeting in June. So our travel budget is more oriented toward that. Fabian will still be at CentOS Connect, though.
All right, thank you.
Anything else right now?
Just a quick note. I have not talked to the Fedora leadership about this. This is one of those, hey, we should keep that for 2025. And Neil, that's why you can't access the doc right now, because currently I'm trying to socialize it with specific named leads. And so I'm here specifically to talk to the CentOS board. And the next stop will be the Fedora Council. And then we'll open up wider and wider. It's like my preference is just open everything to everybody all of the time, but we don't usually get good results that way when we get a lot of interest all at once. But feel free to ping me in chat and we can talk about it to your heart's content.
All right. Thank you, Brenda. We'll be disappointed not to see you in Brussels, but we understand. And thank you for sending Fabian. All right. We've been talking a little bit on the channel and the SIG Council. So Brian is not here. Brian had been leading this. I'm going to pull up the issue. Hang on, everybody. And here. All right, so for anyone who wants to look at it and follow along, this is the issue from Brian. Open up for me. Yes, okay. So this is the rewrite and the discussions that took place after CentOS Connect last year. The holdup, however, we believe has been the secure boot, but the board as a whole feels like that shouldn't stop us from forming this. Go ahead, Davida.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. I think that we had a bit of a chicken and egg thing here. My understanding is the original discussion was this spun out of the secure boot discussion because one of the requirements for every secure boot working for SIGs is to have some kind of governing body that can act as like the keeper of the keys, because that's one of the requirements there. So then that dovetailed into, well, we should have a kind of a SIG Council, and the SIG Council should be the governing body for the secure boot stuff. I think we can probably decouple these two things. Like, yes, we need a governing body for secure boot stuff when that comes along, but that has been going on for a long time, and it's been challenging, to say the least, to get movement there. So I think we can have the council discussion without the secure boot stuff, and then when the secure boot stuff materializes into something concrete, we can deal with that there, or even better, the SIG Council can deal with that there if it by then exists.
So I think everyone on the channel is of the agreement that we would like to go ahead and go forward with this. Thumbs up. And then, like Davida said, we can add in secure boot. We can change how we write the governance at that time as well. Because one of the notes we had some discussion on how often these should meet. So that is something we can decide, and we can always change it later. Troy?
So I was not on the board 1 year ago at the council. So, and the issue starts off with the SIG Council exists to manage investigation. What does this? I don't know what the SIG Council is. I have a good idea in my mind. This is one of the reasons why I wanted this brought up, but I do not see it written down anywhere as what the SIG Council is and does.
All right, Davida, do you want to go, or do you want me to answer?
I will try.
Okay.
So this does not exist. This
Okay,
is,
so it does not exist. Okay.
this was originally, originally Brian had a proposal that you can still find as an issue that's been closed, that in some detail specified what the council should be and what responsibilities should have. We had a very in-depth discussion at Connect last year, and one of the outcomes of the discussion was that we wanted this to be less prescriptive because we felt that it would be easier for things to be set up for success if these were less prescriptive. That led to the issue that you're seeing now. The issue that you're seeing now, with the caveat that this was like almost a year ago and my memory is fuzzy, but this to me seems like a fair representation of what we had agreed. But the general idea is to have a setting where representatives from the various SIGs can get together and debate technical matters that relate to the project and make decisions by consensus, and then use that to inform the rest of the project. So say all the SIGs can get together, decide, hey, we would like to use, I don't know, GitLab as a place for building packages instead of Pagure. And then everybody agrees, and then we go to infra and tell infra, hey, all of the SIGs would like this. Let's work together on making it happen. And the idea was to shift some of a lot of discussion we had in the board sometimes tend to get stuck in technical minutiae. And the board as a body is more meant to deal with governance and policy than with technical minutiae. So the idea is to kind of delegate the technical bits to the people that would be doing the work anyway, which is usually the SIGs. That's the short version. And anybody
And
feel free to weigh in.
yeah, the original holdup when Brian brought it up to the meeting we had was we really bogged down even on the damn name. So I believe you were in the room in Brussels, Troy. where we discussed this over lunch. I want to say you were there. And I think, so we're still referring to it as the SIG Council. I believe we had a different name for it that everyone agreed to. I want to say it's steering committee, but I don't think it was steering committee. Maybe it was an advisory committee. We will need to remember the name because everyone agreed on the name. And that name helped everyone to go, yes, this is a really great idea. But when we call it just the SIG Council or a steering committee, it causes problems. So we do need to remember the name that everyone did agree on. Apple would have a seat on this. All the SIGs would have a nominated person to be on it. Technical committee was the old name. Council was one, I think. Maybe. I know it was council. And when you say technical committee, I think OpenStack, but so I'm not sure what the name was. And I don't think we like steering. I think it was more advisory because while we can go to Infra and say we would really like this, if Infra can't do it, we may not be able to. Davida?
The name doesn't matter in my opinion, but I put the old issue as a reference in the chat if you want to see the long and winding story. But the original proposal from Brian was technical committee, and then the new revised proposal, which is 126, calls it SIG Council. I'm personally okay with council, but I don't think the name matters that much. I'm also fine with discussing these as council, and then
when we had Alexandra here and we're trying to discuss it in a board meeting.
yeah, I'm also happy to have this named council for now, and then have it rename itself to something else if itself desires.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, wrong button.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I think what happened originally was everyone got so hung up on the name and not what we were hoping to form here. But basically, what this group would do, it would have either a chair, a co-chair, or someone who represents the SIG attend this meeting. Apple would be represented. The board can attend, but is not required. But just a place to discuss so we're not duplicating efforts. And I think that's one of the main concerns, is that a lot of times we're creating the wheel twice, whether it's infra related or policy related. So yes, Sean, we could just make Apple a SIG. We could.
I seem to remember a discussion about this already.
Yes, we've had this discussion. And we had the discussion in the promo meeting last week too. So yes, Apple becoming a SIG would be helpful. So is there any thoughts? I mean, we need to start writing the governance out, but does anyone feel that this is blocked in any way, shape, or form beyond starting to get the governance going and everyone agreeing on it? Troy?
I think it's a good idea. I agree on it. And I like David's idea of the name doesn't matter. We've got SIG Council written on the thing that we can rename it later if we need to. So I think it's a good idea and I would like to move forward, especially now that I know all the details. I remember that meeting. I remember thinking, what are these guys talking about? For me,
See, for me, that's
I mean
everything.
that lunch.
All right.
I think that was the
Pat,
one.
did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll be.
No, my head itched.
Okay. No, well, I saw you light up, so I wasn't sure. All right, so we will start working on that. I will create, I don't know, we'll start with a HackMD, I think, and add a link to it at on this ticket so that we can start forming something. On the plus side, when we make governance changes, it just requires a vote. It does not require legal. So that is handy in this case. So we'll get started on that. And Let me go back to the notes. All right. Does anyone else have anything on this topic? All right. Just a time check for everyone. We are doing well. We are at 25 minutes. Davida, next topic is yours. It's the GitLab Duo.
Sorry, I pulled up the agenda to be sure what one it was. Yes, this is a good example of something that could probably fall onto the SIG Council if that existed, but it doesn't, so I'll just bring it up here. In case you don't know, GitLab turned on by default and announced on every repository that exists a bunch of questionable AI, generative AI features. You can look it up on the internet. It's called GitLab Duo if you want details. My personal opinion is that we should turn this off by default and then let repos opt in if they would like to turn it on for their specific repos, especially because my read of the documentation they have, the documentation does not say in any way, shape, or form that they are not using repo data for training. And it seems kind of icky to offer up repo data for training without people opting in, at least in my opinion. I just wanted to bring this up to make sure people knew the existence of this, and then if there's alignment, we can just file a ticket with infra, and anybody with admin permission to the CentOS group on GitLab can turn this off, and then it will automatically turn it off for everything underneath.
And I know everyone who's seen you bring this up in the board channel is in favor of it, but let's go ahead and make an issue on it, Davida, so people can vote. And we'll give it.
Do you want me to do an issue on the board tracker for this?
Yes.
Okay, we can do that.
Just so that we can get the votes there, and
Okay.
then we'll open the infra ticket. Just keep it open a week. I don't want this to drag on.
Okay.
And then I don't know when
we'll do that.
Fabian's starting his PTO. Brendan, do you know when he is? If you're still here.
Ooh, I do not know off the top of my head.
Do you think we have a week?
Let me check something. Come back to me in like 20 seconds.
Okay.
All right. I think Fabian is out at the end of this week.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
Those of you from the board in attendance, vote on this in the meeting. Let's just get it over with. Thumbs up if you are in favor of it being disabled. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The board has voted. Jack, did you thumb up? I know you did in the chat, so I'm going to go with that. All right, let's go ahead and open it directly to infra.
Okay, I'll take an action for that.
Okay. Because I'd like to get it done before Fabian goes off, and this will give him 2 days to get it done. All right, so are there any more concerns on this issue? Okay. He's just out on Monday, but we voted on it. We have quorum. Let's go with it. All right. So next item is issues to be closed. We're kind of lying here because we went ahead and merged this to get the website up and running. Number 226, the election process, which had passed edits and voting. So that has already been closed so that the page could be updated on the soon to be released new website, which leads us to Sean's update.
Oh, great. Let me find the tab where I wrote that. There it is. Yeah, well, first I'm going to tell you, we mentioned CentOS Connect, and I mention it every time. It is happening January 30th and 31st. It's the 2 days before FOSDEM. You all know that, but maybe people watch this recording. The CFP closes December 16th on Monday. So I'm reminding you to please get submissions in, tell other people. I'm going to email all of the active SIGs that I don't already see submissions from. This would be a great place. I would just email SIG Council and say, hey, SIG leads, go tell your, but I'll just go through and I have a list of the SIGs, so I can do that. But yeah, please get the submissions in so that, you know, everything's represented. I like to hear from the SIGs and what people are doing otherwise in the project. So, so the website and the docs. Oh, is that a hands up? I heard a bing. Amy, you're muted.
You're muted.
What happened when I finally mute myself? Okay, I did notice in the CFP that Hyperscale and Alt Images had signed up for a meetup. I'm assuming you want meetups through there as well?
Yes. So we are, like last year, doing talks, mostly short talks. I'll allow some long talks, but we're doing the Thursday morning meetups. So you'll get basically a 2-hour slot to have a conversation on whatever you want. So Hyperscale and Alt Images SIG will do, if they're selected by the review committee, we'll have a meetup. So anybody else who's interested in doing a meetup for their SIG or just for activity that they're doing, you can also submit it there. I also have new this year. We have some rooms that I think are going to be set up during lunch. And so I did a thing where I played with doing a lunch and learn as a session type. I don't know how this is going over, and I don't know if we'll even end up doing it, but if you have an idea for something that, like, maybe you just kind of talk to people or maybe have kind of a BOF while people are eating, keep that in mind. So don't expect them to do a lot of work on their laptop. That could work there. So if you have ideas, submit it. If no one goes for it, then we don't do it. Yep.
Just a quick thing, because you mentioned lunch and learn, and I have a lot of experience with that stuff from work. My suggestion would be if you are requesting these, frame it as a discussion of sorts, like not as a frontal presentation lecture, because otherwise the person presenting cannot eat.
Right, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I have run into that many of a time because I'm usually the presenter. Ooh, Jeffro suggested lunch BOFs.
I have some experience with that. We did lunch BOFs. We've done them several times on and off in Embedded Linux conference, and I think they've been done in Plumbers as well. Okay. So yeah, they're generally positive. Some people don't have a problem with them because they don't like eating while talking with their hands.
Yeah.
So really depends on the subject matter, but I generally am very, very much in favor of them.
Cool. We will see. Besides that, the other, let's see what else was on my, well, I wanted to talk about SIG Council, which we did. So we've been working on a revamp of the website and the doc site. There's also a rebranding and a reskinning of the blog site. I don't know what it takes to get that deployed. But you can see, I'll actually drop in for anyone who hasn't been following along. stg.centos.org is the current staging of the website. docs.stg.centos.org is the current staging of the docs site. All of the SIG docs are in there that were in sigs.centos.org. The URL structure is exactly the same, so we can just set up sigs.centos.org/$foo, redirect to docs.centos.org/$foo. Anyway, this is like really underway. The doc site I've told Fabian to go ahead and deploy whenever he's, I mean, it's evening, he's probably in bed now. So we'll get that deployed, and then we will get the web stuff. There's just a few little extra things that have to go in. but it's really close. There's always still a lot of work to do, and we have issues and stuff for all of that, but we're trying to get what's our minimum viable product. And all of this will go along with the CentOS Stream 10 release. Now I know composes are out there, but making a nice release announcement. We have a blog post ready for it, but we want to have the website released concurrently with the official release announcement, because it just looks bad to do the release announcement and have people go to our website and it's not current. It has a lot of outdated stuff on it. So we've been kind of kicking the can down the road for a couple of weeks. Tomorrow, maybe. I don't know, but it's a day by day thing at this point. Davida?
I just wanted to share, there's this nice LWN article. I just shared it in the chat about the CentOS Stream, the upcoming CentOS Stream release. For the people that can't see the chat or watching the recording, it's on LWN, but it's not a freely readable article yet. So it will be freely readable article in a week if you're not an LWN member. Or 2 weeks or whatever the cooldown period is. I don't actually remember. But yeah, something you may want to fold in the next newsletter or whatever kind of PR we do.
Nice, yeah. And Apple 10 will be released concurrently with CentOS 10. So, and that's all. My understanding is that's all ready to go. So, we're really just some last pieces on the website, and getting it deployed. So.
And if you don't hang out in the promo or docs channel, click on those links in the chat, because it's a really nice new website.
Those channels have been extremely busy the last couple of weeks, more than they've been in a long time. So, yeah. And I'm not the only person working on this. So thanks to, it's been a big group effort with a lot of people filing PRs. So. I think that's all for me, unless anyone has any questions about it.
All righty. Sorry, I'm actually answering something in the promo channel. It's very addicting over there. Do we have any SIG reports? I don't think so. So any other business? Last couple meetings we've had some. So I don't want to run through this real quick. All right, so it doesn't. Go ahead, Davida.
So I've hinted this in other settings, but one discussion I wanted to start was whether we want to start encouraging SIGs to move their packaging stuff from git.centos.org to GitLab or not, and how would we want to go about that? There's the technical side of this and the policy governance side of it. We can talk about the technical side, but it's not terribly complex. But from a policy standpoint, my personal feeling is that if somebody wants to, they can already technically build stuff from GitLab, but it would be beneficial for the project for all or most, at least, of the packaging stuff to be in the same place, because it's already hard enough to find as it is now. And I feel like if it all gets scattered around, it will be even harder to find. So with that said, I think it would be good for the project if the board gave a formal recommendation for what to do here if we decide to move forward with this. I don't think there's any immediate urgency, but I do realize that on one hand, Fedora is looking to move away from Pagure to another forge. On the other hand, git.centos.org is currently not being used for RHEL stuff anymore. It used to be used for source delivery for 7, and I think a bit of 8, and both of those are EOL. So my hunch is that in the medium to long future, this will not serve a major purpose in the infrastructure, so its continued existence is not guaranteed. And the reason I bring this up now with my hyperscale hat on, a couple of people in hyperscale were interested in doing some work that would leverage GitLab workflows to do automation and testing and CI and stuff. And being able to do this in GitLab would be easy and would allow stuff to work and to be integrated much more quickly and much more easily. So that's why I was bringing this up now. It's something that we've known for a while. That's it.
And Davide, this doesn't conflict with the move to Conflux in any way, shape, or form, no matter what we're
No,
using?
this is completely orthogonal to Conflux. Also, I would point out that this exists and Conflux does not. Conflux in the sense of like a thing to build packages for the distribution, not Conflux the project, to be clear.
I know Cloud SIG is using Fedoras, and you can do CentOS 10 over there.
Okay, I will check this out. But no, this is unrelated. This is just where the package definitions live. It has nothing to do with how they're built. I would expect things will continue to be built in CBS for SIGs unless things change.
Okay. Sean and Steve. This could potentially be a licensing question. So we would have to find out if we would need licenses and what the cost and how we would pay for them.
I don't think so, because we already
No?
have a GitLab instance and it's
Okay.
already being used by the SIGs. So
All right.
I think
Well, so the seat system for GitLab in the CentOS org is that the seats are not entitled until you log into it for the first time through and bind it to your CentOS FAS. So when you log in with ACO into the CentOS namespace, then Red Hat then the seat is allocated to the account. Otherwise, it is unused. So when people start using it, that's when that starts happening. And so far as the arrangements for how the entitlements work and the seats and cost and whatever, that's a separate thing. But as it is right now, from a cost perspective, in a normal sense, the only time that cost is actually added is when somebody logs in and starts doing stuff in GitLab. You are not given a seat until you actually go and log in and do stuff.
Troy?
Just to clarify, because as you said, SIGs can already use GitLab, and in fact, I'm already using it in GitLab in the alt images and in the ISO SIG. But what you're asking for is for the board to say we recommend to do this. Is that what we're?
yes, and I was specifically talking about if you look on packages, like if you look at say the systemd package in gitlabcentos.org, you see there's branches that are like C9s-sig-hyperscale, C10s-sig-hyperscale. Those are the branches that, in this case, Hyperscale builds from and where it maintains its own sources for that package. And right now, these are alongside the old source delivery branches, so like C6, C8, C9, C7, not C9, because C9 was never there. So yes, it was specifically about this, so where SIGs keep packages. And I don't know how GitLab is set up. So one option is if the ACS allow it is to do the same thing on GitLab. So to have these under the packages in GitLab where the RHEL developers do work. If that's not an option, the other option we have is to just make a group under the CentOS group, I guess, and just rebuild the hierarchy down there. But that's a technical discussion that we should have with infra once we've decided whether we want to do this or not.
That part's also already set up. The way that it works is all you need to do is create the group under your namespace, RPMs or whatever you want to call it. The ACLs for CBS have already been tweaked, so this works. The reason I know this works is this is how we build the ISOs. All of our manifests for ISOs, for Kiwi descriptions, they're mirrored from Pagure.io to gitlab.com/CentOS/hyperscale under a subname space, and that CBS can access it. So if, say, Hyperscale wants to do this, it's just I go and create an RPM's namespace, we start populating it with stuff, and then we just do it. It's not really a question of figuring anything else out because CBS is not that smart. It's just filters based on URLs. And the whole GitLab.com/CentOS namespace is whitelisted.
Oh, nice. That makes things easier then.
It does.
Neil, just a reminder to raise your hand.
Go
Go ahead, Troy.
Oh, I just want to say I posted to make Neil's explanation more real. I just posted where the ISA, sorry, I said ISO before, ISA's RPMs are. Like I said, is ISA/RPMs, and then it's populated with the RPMs. So it's simple. So so I guess I'm giving this a thumbs up because yeah, I use it.
Go ahead, Neil.
There are some downsides, though. The main downside is that you have no integrity protection on GitLab. So that means you can wipe out commits, you can overwrite them, amend them, whatever you like. There is no authenticity or integrity protections on GitLab.com. They are not possible to implement because you can just take them away at willy-nilly. So that is the big difference between git.centos.org and GitLab. It's the main reason I hadn't moved to it before, because that can be a big problem in the future.
Go ahead, Pat.
I haven't checked it on main GitLab, but the local instance I've got has branch protection rules. Is that not a option up in the cloud?
The point is you can
Davda?
take them away at free will. Like, you can just turn it
Davda?
off temporarily or permanently.
So I don't know how this particular instance is set up, but my understanding is there are some settings in GitLab that can be set at the group level and are enforcing down below, and there are some that aren't. So Neil is correct that normally on repos, GitLab by default allows force pushes, and if you delete the branch protection rule, you can totally force push. This is not great for things like RPMs. I don't think it's necessarily a showstopper, because when we do builds in CBS, the source RPM is stored in CBS and can be fetched from CBS after the fact, and we don't delete them from CBS ever. So as long as we do that, you can always recover the source. So this isn't a licensing issue, and this isn't a information is lost issue, but it can be pretty crappy if somebody accidentally wipes out their repo and the commit history goes away. I think we should just, if we decide to go forward with this, we should talk to Infra and see if there's like reasonable mitigation we can put in place here. But I agree, this is one of the downsides of going with GitLab.
So something we should definitely speak to Infra about, and also see how they're doing the Git Forge, I think is what the Fedora went with. We can have the recommendation, because I know Hyperscale wants to use this because they can build certain things over there, that there is an option between the two, possibly, for folks who don't need that functionality in GitLab, that if they choose to do Git Forge, they can choose that path as well. But I think we need more information, because I'm also concerned if we're going to if we move like 200 licenses, people start using it, if we're going to end up charged to it. Davda?
So Neil just said it in chat, but I wanted to state it for the record. Fedora is not moving to GitLab, to be clear. Fedora is moving to Forjo. I don't know if the vote has actually happened or not, but the writing is on the wall.
It's already announced.
We could deploy a Forjo for CentOS, I guess, but it seems kind of silly because we already have GitLab, and I don't think the RHEL development process is going to be moving away from GitLab, or at least nobody has made noises in that direction. And because the vast majority of packages the SIGs work on are branched off the CentOS stream packages that are developed by RHEL developers in GitLab under the RHEL namespace, it just seems reasonable to use GitLab for this. And all of our other CentOS stuff is on GitLab. So that's why I was mentioning GitLab as the thing here.
No, and it does make sense, and I don't want to say, no, you cannot use GitLab. Brendan typed something. Let me just reel it. No immediate plans for RHEL to move off GitLab BE. I dream of a future in which that is viable, but okay. So it sounds like RHEL will remain. Sean?
Would people be looking at moving? We have a board repo that's basically an issue tracker, and the CentOS.org repo are on git.centos.org currently. Should we be looking at moving those to GitLab?
Davda?
So those are, I was mainly thinking about packaging repos because those are the ones I cared about as a SIG. The board one, we should probably move it because it's just used for issues, but it's not critical. The website one, I think the website one would be beneficial to move it because we can leverage the CI potentially and do something with that. The one thing to keep in mind for the board one, if we move it, we will need to transfer the issues over somehow or archive the issues if we want to preserve the history. And I don't know if there's a good way to export issues from Pagure and ingest them into GitLab. So that's one thing to keep in mind if we need that for the board repo specifically. For the other ones, I don't think. And there's a few more, you're right. There's also CentOS Git Common, Cent package. There's like a handful of other things under the CentOS namespace that are not packages. That eventually we may want to move somewhere else, but it's not a big deal. Neil is saying that there's an exporter from Pagure to GitHub and GitLab written by Fedora Infra. So that's something we could use then. That's great.
Cool.
Okay. This would be a great time for the SIG Council. I think it's definitely worth investigating. We just need to make sure that it's right for everyone. And like I said, I don't mind there being, you have the option of going to GitLab or you can use this. I don't think we want, I wouldn't go with more than 2 options because then we're just splintering everything all over the place. Go ahead, Troy.
This is putting on my Cent package hat. In the past, I was asked for Cent package SIG. Should the default go to Pagure or GitLab? And when I asked at the time, there was a lot of people that wanted to keep it in Pagure. If this gets passed, let's do an official ask Cent package to change the default.
Okay, so with your Cent package hat on, there's only one option?
Currently, unless we do a rewrite, or maybe we could do a Cent package SIG Pagure, Cent package SIG GitLab.
Okay,
There's different options,
okay,
but right now there is only one.
all right. So if we make the decision, and we would definitely need a issue open for this Davida for everyone to have an opportunity to speak up. Go ahead.
Yep, I'm happy to file an issue. I will also point out that Troy is correct, but you don't have to use Cent package to interact with packaging. Cent package is very convenient, but it's not the only way to do things. So if we want to provide the opportunity for folks to use alternatives, we could also just document that. And I don't think we necessarily need to impose on tools like Cent package that they have to support multiple systems. This is what I'm saying.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're making the best decision for everyone in the community. So let's go ahead and make an issue on that, make it a public issue so folks can add notes and their concerns. And let's also email it, and I can do it if you want, email it to the dev list and get the community feedback before we make a final decision. But I'm definitely okay with folks choosing to go the GitLab route. I just want to make sure that if we're going to say everyone has to, that it is the right choice for everyone.
Sounds good. I can write it up tomorrow and get it published.
Perfect. All right, we have 6 minutes left. Is there anything else on this discussion or any other discussions? All right, everyone. For those of you who are celebrating a holiday in the next coming month, enjoy your holiday. Everyone a happy new year because everyone will celebrate that one. And we are going to have the January 11th meeting as planned. So we'll see everyone January 11th. Take care all.
Happy holidays. Bye, folks.
See you.
You know,
Bye.